Yeah, so
ahead,
we're going to
Tim.
build a foundation. Thank you. We're going to build that foundation for a preference center for not only unsubscribing, but also capturing different subscriber preferences. So let's see, we're going to do Sandesh. So we're going to follow a lot of what Sandesh's session was of the setting up a debug functionality and doing some of the basic functionality in server-side JavaScript to be able to pull in values and to pull in the response from the email being sent. So, all right, so you're in Cloud Pages. That's interesting. There's only 2 that are showing there. So if you go up to that, go up to your business unit under Cervelo Partner Sandbox. And then if you click on, so that's 109, just see, 109.677.669. All right, so for some reason, that is not the business unit we need you to be in. So let me just check your access here. There we go. All right, you might have to hit refresh, and then that might give you that business unit that we're looking for. Yeah, that's the one. That's the main one. So I want to click into that one right there. Perfect. All right, perfect. So yeah, we're going to go into that collection. This was the collection that Sandesh was working in. This includes his cloud page from the session that he took us through about a week and a half ago. So if you want to click it, yeah, perfect. And then let's go into that hands-on build test, yeah, for that, click into that cloud page. This is basically just a shell that we're going to look to build our core functionality bit by bit here. So the first thing that we're going to want to build is Sandesh showed us this cool little function that has this, you can output 2 different variables. So as we're building and we're validating everything, we're going to be actually using AmpScript to build out these 2 functions, and then we'll use server-side JavaScript to render those variables. So Bruno, if you want to bring over a code snippet, and then I'm going to drop it into that area that says drop blocks or content here, perfect. And then what we're going to want to do in here is we're going to want to create 2 variables that we're going to, yep, you can, well, we're going to start the scripting in a little bit, but for right now, we just want to output 2 variables. Great, so we'll do a p tag, fantastic. Yep. And then, yep. And then you can, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do at, yep, you can call that at debug. Perfect. And then we'll, so one of the things I wanted to see if we could also add is a little bit of formatting. So Sandesh had this with a border and some basic formatting. So yeah, can that p tag? Awesome, you're a natural in HTML.
I remember the border because this is the only thing that I studied from that class. So it was solid, red,
yep,
and some padding, I believe.
Yeah, nice. Beautiful. Yeah, and I think he had the second variable as error. All right, perfect. Looks great. And then I think, yeah, you want to start we'll load in the,
now we need to load the platform, right?
Yep.
Do you remember which version?
He has 1.1.1. Yep, that looks good. All right, awesome. Okay, and then the first thing that he had us do in our process was he wanted to just test the functionality of the debug. So Bruno, in our in the chat is the server-side JavaScript documentation. So if you want to open that up, yep, perfect, you got that up there. And this, what we basically want to do is set a value. And so I think it's under the platform functions, so which is a little bit further down on the left. Yeah, a little further down. Yeah, platform functions. And then if you open that up, yep, and then we want to look for the AMP script value functions, which I think might be near the bottom.
Can you guys hear me? I think my internet is okay.
Yeah, the AMP script variable functions. So if you open up that little caret right there, yep. And then, so this is what we want to do is we want to set the value. Yep. So yeah, you can just copy that syntax. Yep. So you can choose either one, whichever one you want to use. Yep. Perfect. So yeah, I can save and publish. We'll just see that this hopefully should render a value of test. That looks good. And then if you hit publish. So yeah, and then if you click on that, I think that'll show. Perfect, awesome. Okay, and so one of the things that Sandesh had in his demo was a working URL that was based off of an email send of the subscriber values or the send time values that would be passed, things like looking into the subscriber and stuff like that. So in order to do that, we need to build an email to have it go to this cloud page. So yeah, we're gonna go to another tab, and we've got I think Bruno, did we create an email? But we'll create another email real quick. So yeah, if you go into content. And then, but let's create a new one just for fun, because it's just to go through the steps, just for people to walk through. Again, this is using a email design system.
My connection okay? Can you hear and see my screen fine?
Yeah, it's Marketing Cloud. Okay. You know what? Let's click into that email just to save us some time. We can just go through this, and let's hit edit on this email. We can just take a look. I set this up earlier, and we just take a look at what this is doing. Okay, so yeah, the key here is that call to action. So if you click on that call to action button, and this is going to create us, give us that. Yeah, if you go to the HTML editor, what we've got here in the href of the HTML is using that syntax, which is cloud pages URL, and that's surrounded by the name of the number of the cloud page, and then that's all wrapped in a redirect to. So yeah, if you go up to your cloud pages tab, let's go just see if we can find that number. So yeah, if you go to page properties, we should see, there's that 3199 number there. So that's all good, looks good. So that's, we just copy that number and you drop it into the call to action button using that Cloud Pages URL to redirect to. Should all look good there. And then the only other thing that we're doing is rendering a greeting here. So if you go up to outside of this block, there should be like a header block right above that greeting. And then if you go up a little bit further, there might be yeah, right there if you click into that block. So what we're doing here is just setting that greeting variable to the value of first name, which is based on the data extension that we're going to use to preview this, which we can add you to, Bruno, just so we have you as a record. So let's do that too. Let's keep this tab open. Let's duplicate. Let's go to another tab. We're going to go to Cloud Contact Builder, and we'll find the data extension. We can add you as a record so that you can preview yourself and generate a link that we can use in the Cloud Pages.
Awesome.
Yep. Yep. And so I've pre-set up a data extension that's got a couple of key values in here. We'll just walk through manually entering. All right, so Raja is actually here. Let me just chat with him to see. We could have him take over next time. There's going to be plenty to do here. All right, and yeah, so under, let's see, if we go under hands-on, and then there should be an SSJS bootcamp. And then if we go to Cloud Page Test, yeah. Yep. And then let's just add a new record for you. And Bruno, let's just use your email address as the subscriber key, just for now. And let's use a different email address. Do you have another email address that we could use for,
Sure.
just so that we know when we're outputting the subscriber key email address is a little different? Thank you. Perfect. All right. And so then let's go back to your email and let's preview against this data extension to pull you in as a subscriber. Let's see, yep. Perfect. Awesome. All right, cool. All right, so let's try clicking into that call to action. Okay, good. So I think like what Sandesh was showing, we'll see if we can get this to work as it is. We may have to send an email to yourself, but you know what? While we're waiting for that, let's do that anyways. Let's click into that, back into the email. Yeah, let's do a test email. That pulls that up. Let's use transactional for the, I think sometimes the transactional might work a little bit better for the default commercial. Yeah, do transactional. And then for the sender profile, let's just go down. So if you scroll down a little bit, let's do the Cervelo-next sender profile. Sometime I think that that one right above it. Yep. Okay, perfect. And then let's just hit send test. Okay, cool. So we might not need that, the actual email itself. It seems like sometimes these functions do work without that. But okay, now that we've got that link, I think we're ready for the next set of testing, which is we want to output the value of the subscriber, the data point that's within the data extension send. So Bruno, can you open up a Google tab? What we want to do is we want to look up these personalization string libraries. in Marketing Cloud. So if you search for like personalization string Marketing Cloud, I'm sure you might have probably navigated there. Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah. Yep. I think it's that one with for Email Studio. I think you can get here through this navigation as well. So yeah, the personalization strings, I think we might have covered this before. Upon time of send, Marketing Cloud gives you all these amazing data points, which you can leverage, which we're going to be using today. The first one we're going to be using is the subscriber. Yeah, I think if you click on that into Email Studio, that'll give you a list. There it is. Cool. So yeah, so at time of send, all of these values are set up, accessible. And so the first value I think we're going to be using is the subscriber. I think it's underscore subscriber. Yeah, subscriber key. Cool. Okay, so yeah, we could copy that if you want. Yeah, I think it's just, yep, in between the % is what you want. Yep. And then we can paste that into our cloud page. We navigate back to the cloud page. And then, yeah, we'll go in there.
And to retrieve this, I will use the get value function instead of the set value.
There's a specific function. Yeah, so if you want to paste in that value, let's try that. Let's try the platform value variable get value. I think that typically works for an AMP script value. So if you go back to that documentation, I think it's, or yeah, if you want to just do get value, I think it's the same. Yeah, let's try that. I was trying this earlier and I couldn't get it to work, but I found but let's try it anyways, because I'm just kind of curious to have another person. Yeah, let's copy that. Nice. Yeah, and you can move your platform set value below it. If you cut line 4 and you move it below line 7. Yeah. And then just swap out. Yeah. And I think the test part doesn't need a quote if you're setting a variable, so it's just subkey. Okay, try that, see if that works. You're basically setting that variable to a subscriber key.
I need to.
But you've got that, yeah, okay, yeah, I've got that link, perfect. And then if you go back to your cloud page, you have to publish it.
I didn't publish, I didn't publish.
All right, and then all you have to do is refresh that, yeah, to that page. Go back to your link page. Yep, there you go. And try refreshing. Yeah, so it doesn't work. So there's a unique function which I think has to do with pulling in personalization strings or data extension values. I think this function that we're using here is when you have an AMP script variable that you're setting, it'll be able to output that. But if Bruno, if you go under the server-side JavaScript documentation, yeah, and if you go under platform functions, under field and attribute functions, yeah, and let's go to that syntax. And yeah, let's try the get attribute value. I think if you just modify it to this syntax, I was saying that it worked. So it's kind of cool just exploring how these different get and set variables work for different variables. Kind of cool. Yeah, try that. That syntax platform dot recipient get attribute value. And then let's add a semicolon there too at the end. Might have been, could have been the semicolon too. Yeah, if you added, yeah, a semicolon. Yeah, let's try that, see if that works.
Did I do it too fast?
Either. Yeah, let's take a look at your code.
Publish one more time.
This is subkey platform dot recipient attribute value. Try double quotes on that. I don't think that's the reason, but try double quotes on the subscriber key. You have a single quotes. I think single quotes was in the syntax, but let's just try. Yeah, I think subkey is okay without the quotes. But you're in the get attribute value with the subscriber key. Can you try that with double quotes?
Okay.
So you got platform get attribute subscriber key, and then platform variable set value debug subkey. That looks like it would work. Let's try that. Let's try
I think in the session we use the attribute dot get value, not this.
Yeah, yeah, I got this to work, but let's just try it one more time because I couldn't find that syntax anywhere in the documentation. So yeah, let's try that, see if that works. All right, and then Bruno, did you get an email?
This is not the one. This is the one, I think. No, they're the same.
No. Bruno, did you get an email from that email send?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. And that. All right. Yeah, if you want to try Sandesh's syntax, it was attribute, like you said, attribute dot get value. I was working on this morning and I got it to work to get attribute value, but let's try that to see. You know, sometimes it's a little funky in server-side JavaScript. Yeah, I think it's something to do with the page. It's weird that that's not working. So let's go back to, let me just see. So it's working for me in my environment, which is interesting and cool. I think it all has to do with this link not working. We don't really have a workable link for some reason. So let's see. Based on subscriber preview cloud page test. Yeah, let's duplicate this out. Let's go take a look at the tracking to see if a send was actually sent. Because if you haven't received it, there's probably a good chance that and you know what I'm gonna do? See if I can forward you this email. Maybe that would help.
Yeah, it's not on my spam and not on my email.
Okay, so it looks like they were sent. That's interesting. Let's click into both of those emails and see where it went to. I can receive it. Not showing. Okay. Let me go to that date extension and let me just copy your email address. And I'm going to forward you this email. Maybe it'll work from a forwarded email. We just basically need a working link. Sometimes it's not easy to get that link working. So, okay, your better email address. Let me just send that. Or I want to send it. Yeah, send it. All right, I just forward you an email. Let's send it to both your email addresses, actually, the Gmail and
On the Gmail or on the @vetter?
I sent it to the better email address, and then let me just try seeing in my content. If I pull up the same email, I could send it to your email address as well. I don't know if it has anything to do with permissions. Probably not. All right, so I just sent you to your bruno@vetter.tech.br email address. The actual email itself. I also forwarded you the email.
I just received it.
Okay, yeah. Try clicking in that and see if that we get a better URL that would work. I don't know if it's going to work on a forwarded email.
It's working,
Right,
but
so
it's your subscriber key, right?
It's my subscriber, yeah. So I just sent you a test email as well. It might just be something to do with subscribers being, Marketing Cloud being a little bit careful with the email send. But either way, we've got something there. Just to prove that out.
Do you want me to send a real email, not a test, but the email?
Like a user initiated send or like a regular, yeah, if you want to do that, sure. walking through the email send functionality using all subscribers. Okay, nicely done. All right, cool. So while we're waiting for that, Bruno, do you want to try in the cloud page, let's put in email adder just so that we can see how that data is coming through differently with a different, I think initially the, and actually, can we go back to that, the syntax that was in, I'd just like to see if we can get that syntax to work. Yeah, let's just use that syntax. Yeah, because I couldn't find this attribute value syntax. So I kind of wanted to use the, yeah, if you just set the, okay, so you're gonna output. Okay, cool. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. It gives us options using both those variables. You should be teaching this, Bruno, not me.
No, just when we have follow up. If I was doing this alone, I would be just copying and pasting. You know?
All right, whichever the link that you had that was magical, yeah, that was cool. All right, cool. So we are awesome. So both of those functions working, the attribute, get value, and then the one that we found in the server-side JavaScript documentation, the platform, you know, whatever that function, the platform get attribute value.
Did you receive this last send?
Let me see if I got an email.
I did not.
Yes, you did not. It might be something
No.
to do with your subscribe. Yeah, it might just be something to do with all subscribers and first time sending or something. So yeah. Okay, cool. So that's awesome. That was fantastic. Now we can move on to the next section, which is retrieving a response from the subscriber. And it'll be kind of interesting to see if we can get this through your, you know, link functionality. So what we want to do is we want to pull in the details from the subscriber. And Bruno, if you go into the documentation for server-side JavaScript, we're going to want to navigate to the, not in the platform functions, but in the subscriber functions, a little bit up above, yep, right there. And then we want to pull in that attributes dot receive. Yeah, that refreshes, like for me, the same way all the time as well. So yeah, that attributes dot retrieve, let's click into that. I think there's a little bit of setup that you need to do every time that you want to retrieve some subscriber information. And
we have to initiate it, right?
yes.
Okay. Like this?
And I think that has to still be in quotes. Oh, no, I'm wrong. My bad. You're right. And then so we're setting that attributes.retrieve. And then we want to set value. Instead of outputting the sub key, we're going to want to output attributes, maybe for the debug. Yeah. And then one thing that Sandesh did, I think we've done this before, is that we want to stringify that attributes. So if you wrap attributes in a stringify,
Is it like
It's an
this?
IFY. I think it's a string IFY. An I, right? Yep. Yep, perfect. All right, let's try that. So which should give us a response for what the subscriber values that are passed. And then if you hit publish, I don't know why that error appears there. And then, yeah, let's try refreshing. Okay, cool. So this is what Sandesh was walking us through. This is the payload that comes back when you're looking to pull in all the subscriber information. And he had some values in here that, like I think he had last name value populated. In our use case, we don't really have any values for name, last name. You can see the value is blank, but we do have one for do not track, which we could output, or we could output gender. So maybe we can do that. So what we can use for syntax on this, just to output that do not track. If we go back into your cloud page, and then right underneath
we need to count this, like 1, 2, 3.
Yes, awesome. Let's do that. Yeah. And I think it starts with 0.
This is 0, right?
Yep.
First name is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6 and 7, right?
Yep.
We'll do like var and gender. So so I would get this value over here, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I think it's dot value that you want to output. Very nice.
Like a JavaScript object.
I think so. Yeah.
Like this.
Yep.
And the other one was remote track.
Nicely done. Yeah. False was what was supposed to output, and male. Yeah. So I think this sets the stage for our next step, which was to, we were going to look into the next step was, I think you had us go through lists. So we're going to look up all subscribers, finding a specific subscriber and finding their status, but using that same logic, taking the response and just outputting it. So Bruno, nice work on that. I think we're at a good place to stop, and we'll pick it up from there. I think what we're going to want to do is follow through the steps that Sandesh took us through. And then he's going to have us, like he mentioned in the training, the AMP script function for the actual subscribe and unsubscribe functionality, I think is the preferred. So we're going to be building that as well, that functionality, and then wrapping that with like a try catch functionality. So he's going to help guide us through that. Maybe he'll come to a couple of build sessions, or we might be working that on some of the bootcamp series, maybe our 10th, 11th, or 12th sessions to sort of walk through that, and then building out. We're going to continue to build this out, get that subscriber functionality working, And then we'll do, create some preferences as far as like, I want to receive, emails once, twice, three times, once a month, 2 times a month, 3 times, that type of stuff. We'll start, building in different like checkboxes, and Raja will have you work on that next week. Build out that custom preference center. People do, if you want in the MC Learning Slack channel, please share some suggestions for what functionality you're looking to build in your preference centers, and we'll build that in and explore that both in SSJS and in AmpScript, and a combination of those. So I think we were off to a really good start. And sorry, go ahead, Bruno.
Awesome. I built myself one subscriber center a few time ago. I think I can show you here. Maybe put this one. But my error that I just realized right here is that I was passing the values of the subscriber key and the email on the parameters, but I don't need to. Can retrieve them from direct email and will be safer, right?
Yeah,
and
cool. Awesome.
this right here is not dynamic as well, so this is like fixed. So if they create a new list, it won't show here. So I'm not using the list retrieve function that you just described it, but it works, but it's not ideal code wise, I would say.
Very cool preference center, Bruno. Love little buttons over there. Maybe you can help us architect this visually, UX, UI functionality. That's super cool. Love that.
This is
Awesome.
100% copy and paste from the W3 schools, you know.
Oh, really?
They have this exact button here.
That's so cool.
But it's cool. It works visually.
Awesome. Well, fantastic. Thank you again. Sorry,
I think that one thing that we can add to our preference center that will be built together is, why would somebody to retrieve the answer to why would somebody unsubscribe? I think that would be very cool to have like a few reasons, you know.
And then store that like in a data extension or something like that. Like that, would that be what you're thinking about there?
That would be very cool. Like if they do not sign for the email, or they are receiving too much email, I think that would be a valuable information for the company to have.
Awesome. No, love that idea. Love that. And I think, I think preference centers are a big topic. I think everyone's asking, you see a lot in the chat, people asking how to do that. So I'm really excited to dive into it and build it out together as a community and share that code. Any questions from anybody on this session? Thank you, Bruno, for hopping in. Amazing job as well. So
thank you. Thank you,
as usual. We're going to have you lead a couple of these sessions too on the build of the preference center, since you've already gone down that road and built a beautiful one.
Wonderful job, both of you, Tim and Bruno. So this is really helpful. And for the questions in the chat, I have posted in the chat the link to the Slack channel. If that doesn't work, let me know. I'm putting in another link to the Slack channel.
Awesome.
Yeah, the link is not working to the Slack.
Okay, this please try this one and see if you are able to join. Any other questions regarding this session? So I hope this session is helpful to you all. Any questions regarding this, please post them in the Slack channels. We do have a dedicated channel for this, SSJS Bootcamp and Challenges.
I have a quick question. Thanks. This is really awesome to see this done live. Anyway, it's like you said, it comes up all the time, and you have to have it for multi-org and so forth. But anyway, what I was curious of is, how do you advise clients? So they have to pay for every impression to a cloud page. and, a preference center, you're sending, possibly 1 million emails or something. They could get a lot of impressions. Do you advise people to do a preference center like this on a cloud page, or would they be better off hosting it where they're not paying for the impressions, or is there like some sort of a calculation that you might do there?
JB, what's your recommendation on that? That's a good question.
Sorry, I did not follow the question, but I will add something which I had in my experience. The decision to have the external preference center or the Marketing Cloud's preference center depends completely on how the client organization is set up, how they are managing their preferences. I have worked with who have their preferences managed outside. Let's say they have their website and all the preferences are managed there. And that adds some overhead that we need to bring in all those preferences into the Marketing Cloud. And any unsubscribes that happen within the Marketing Cloud needs to be synced back to the Marketing Cloud, synced back to the external preference center. So that's something which has to be automated. And one flexibility of having the Marketing Cloud's custom preference center is all the preferences are synced within the Marketing Cloud. So there is nothing it's additional that needs to be done. I'm not sure if I answered correctly. I wasn't completely following the question. If you want to add anything.
Yeah, those make sense as far as why you would want to do it. It simplifies the data because you're already, you're there. You don't have to bring it from somewhere else. My question was around more like cost. So if you are suggesting to a client, let's build your preference center on a cloud page, they're paying, so Salesforce charges for impressions, just like they charge for emails. So impressions, I mean, unless that's changed, but I'm pretty sure they do. But anyway, they charge for every impression. So every time someone goes to this page, the company's paying 1/10 of a cent or something. I don't know, but it would add up at some point. But I didn't know if, like, you do that calculation, like if there's a break even as far as, how much it would cost, if you're sending millions of emails or if you're only sending 10,000 emails, it would make sense because the impressions would be less than the work to do that external data linking or integration.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it's an important functionality, right? And then it's always good to weigh the tech debt of building this in a separate system. The benefits, obviously, that JB mentioned, I think, are right there. But as far as volume that's going to be going to the preference center, I mean, it's good quality. If you're paying for someone to visit your preference center, they're just not surfing, right, and clicking a bunch of different pages and going everywhere. They're there for a specific reason. And if it's coming off that email sent, as us, we might be familiar with the typical response to sending out, hopefully, if you're a smart marketer, that preference center is not being hit a lot. It's just for those people who are looking to unsubscribe, and so that the response rate should be relatively low. So it may not be a high traffic, visit versus people just going to a landing page for a form sign up. That might be a little bit more of a higher volume if you're doing it from a marketing point of view. If you're getting a ton of traffic to your preference center, you might not be doing your marketing right? People are like either unsubscribing or they're, changing their preferences. You might be striking a chord, right off of that, saying like, hey, this is too much, or, usually that's the case. So I got to hop, but it's a great question. I think I'll capture that. I think we can cover that in another session. But awesome question, Jay. These are the questions we're looking for in these sessions. But thank you, everybody. I got to go. Awesome. Thanks again, Bruno. Thanks, JB.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
I hope to see you in the next session. That's on Wednesday, now 12 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, take care. Bye.
Okay, guys.